Okay, and we are live. So, hi everyone. Good night. Thank you so much for coming to Viva Talks. This is our bi-weekly sessions. The topic for tonight is, do we make our own decisions? And I have my wonderful guest speaker who is here. He's going to introduce himself to you guys.
Oh, all right. I'm Mr. Extraordinary. I call myself Average Flow. Not your average Joe, but your average Flow. Um, how are you this evening, Lady Alicia?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Tonight's topic is very interesting. Do we make our own decisions? Um, it's not a concrete yes or no, but it's more a critical thinking type of question that has many different facets and it's very broad. So,
hmm
you want to get into it, David? Let's start.
I guess so. Okay. So yeah, when you mentioned, it, I was like, all right, do we make our own decisions? And I think, yeah, I mean, I think for the majority of things, we make our own decisions, but there are some things that are decided for us.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's just talk about, um, I don't know. See, I mean, you tell me which direction you want to go with it, but when, like I said, I thought about it. I was like, all right, so one thing that you don't have a say in is if you, let's just say you said, I don't want to have a social security number. Um, I don't think you're able to do. Wait, are you able to do that? Are you able to? Can a child be born and then you say I'm not giving them a social security number or
In America, you can do that because
huh?
it's already decided before the child is born.
Right, 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 right. I think, yeah, I think as soon as the child is born, right, you're kind of obligated to register. Like I know you still have to go register your child for a social security number, but
Mhm.
if you don't do it, I wonder if there's some consequences. You know,
You that's a good point. I never thought about the consequences if you do not register a child for Social Security, but I'm sure they will find you and remind you that this child does not exist in this country if you don't register them for a Social Security number. I have to look that up to research that.
okay,
You
okay,
know,
yeah, yeah, and so let's just say, and again, like you said, I have to look that up, but some of the decisions that we make, let's just say that you didn't have to, right? But the consequence of that is, I guess you're an outsider, right?
right?
Because I can think of some pros. If you don't have a social, I guess they're saying you can't pay taxes, but then again, you can't be employed,
Right.
right? So, there's absolutely consequences to all of our decisions.
Right.
I think we are I think we are in control of our decisions, but it's those consequences that is something else.
Yeah. Today I listened to a TED talk from he's a behavioral economist named Dan Ariely. He's from Israel, but his TED talk, that it was the same topic. Do we make our own decisions? And in the TED talk, he mentioned that when people make decisions, they're very irrational, you know,
hmm
and it's based on, he said the decisions are very manipulated and best based on the alternatives in life. How the alternatives are presented is the way we make our decisions. And I thought his TED talk was very interesting, the way he presented it,
Right.
because when we are making decisions, I think our mindset kicks in first, and a lot of
Absolutely.
the decisions are, should I do this or should I not do this? Okay, what is this person gonna think if I do this? And it's like it's a mind game, as he says. So when he said that to me, I thought about it like I don't think people really make, I'll say maybe 35%. I think we make 35% of our decisions. I don't think that we fully make our own decisions because before we're born, most of our decisions in life are already made for us, whether or not we like it.
Okay.
For
Okay. So
example,
I'm guessing you think I'm guessing you're kind of talking about like the influence behind our decisions. Like, are we truly rationalizing our thinking free of influence? Because that that I would say no, because right, we have influence on us from the day we're born,
mhm,
right? So all of those things contribute to our decision making, you know. So I don't know, let's just say let's think of some other decisions that we make. Okay, so here we go. Depending on where you live, right? The decision to, okay, I want to go to this school. It's kind of made for you. You know,
mhm,
you actually don't have that decision. Your decision is already made for you based on where you live. Now that
right?
might not be, that's not the key for some. There are some situations where you don't have to go to the school in the district or the area that you actually reside in. But
Mhm,
I think for the majority of individuals, that decision is already made for you,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, and
Hmm.
right, like what you said, David, we could look at different factors that contribute to the decisions that we make in life, like mindset, the situation, and society. I think those three factors play a huge important role in how we actually think as people. Because let's look, for instance, what's going on now with should I take the vaccine? Should I not take the vaccine? If I don't take the vaccine, I might be out of a job. If I don't take the vaccine, I won't be able to go to the movie theater, the gym, the restaurants. If I
Right,
if I take the vaccine and 2 years from now, something bad might happen to my body, or I'm gonna catch COVID anyway. So what's the point of taking the vaccine? You know,
right,
I'm not telling people what to do, take the vaccine or not. But when you were 6 years old, in order to go to school in America, you took a vaccine, and you don't know what's inside of that vaccine. But because you were a child, your mind didn't tell you to challenge it. But as we become adults, you start to think more and have more opinion. And now people are challenging, should I take the vaccine? I'm not taking the vaccine. This is research says if I take it, this is going to happen. This is inside the vaccine. It's just a lot of different variables. And also look at the foods that we eat. You don't know what they put in the meats that you eat or the vegetables that you're eating. But people
right.
don't challenge those things. They challenge the unknown. I look at it like that.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, no, absolutely. Again, as children, no, our parents made our decisions. So the, you know, at a certain age, right, you do become empowered to make decisions.
Hmm.
And as far as just to touch real quick on the vaccine. And again, I don't know anything. I try to steer away from really talking about it. Like, it's a
Yeah,
personal decision for everybody.
right.
um I think the hesitancy that we see is because of how quick it was developed. And then I think some historically there's been some historically to currently, uh, there's been, racial, inequities, so that might be, the reason for some people with hesitancy. But as far as their decision, like, again, everyone does have a decision, but there's consequences, right? So, like you said, some people have employment. Um, it might even be, I mean, it's still connected when we're talking about funds and checks. But let's just say someone who's not employed, they might say, you know what, for you to receive unemployment, you might have to. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's I think people feel better when they they get to decide on them, themselves. However, sometimes there are decisions that are kind of forced on you, and you have to kind of navigate to see what's going to be the best way to go.
But yeah, I get that. But do you really think it's forced upon us?
What are you talking about?
The vaccination. I don't think
Oh,
it's forced upon people. I think it's
no. No. So no, I'm not. No. I just touched on it real fast. No, I was saying as far as different decisions, right?
yeah.
Different decisions. All right. So let me see. Matter of fact, here we go. Let's just talk about voting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you only have a certain amount of candidates, right? So your decision is already kind of made for you, right? You have there's a lane or two that you're given to operate within, right? But you can't say, well, I want to choose this person. No, you don't have that. You don't have that choice. Oh, I think that's my food that I was talking about. Keep it
Okay.
going. I can hear you. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming out. So basically, we're going to touch on, we're going to talk about the mindset, situation, and society when it comes to making our own decisions.
Alrighty.
So, like David was saying, I think a lot of our decisions are already made for us. Hi,
Right.
David.
Hey.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying that I think a lot of our decisions are already made for us, you know,
Yep.
and it's not just it's a lot of different things. Like, I'll give an example, and this is an example from a long time ago. I was coming back from an island. I'm not gonna say the island, but I was coming back from an island in the airport at JFK, and I was profiled. I was tired. I was minding my business, and the TSA officer came up to me and he said, "Ma'am, let me see your passport." I showed him my passport, and then he said, "Come with me." He took me to a room in the back, and a female TSA officer, she basically pat me down to check for, whatever she was looking for. But that was the moment that I realized that I had no say in saying no to that TSA officer. It just caught me off guard. And when I went home, I tried to contact a lawyer. I contacted someone who's a lawyer, and they said that I wouldn't win if I tried to take TSA to court for doing that, because they have every right when you step into the airport to do that. So that's when I realized you don't have any say when you go in the airport. It's like they just control your every move. That's another example of we don't make our own decisions when it comes to traveling.
Right. So, okay. So I think when we look at that, right, right, you might feel that you have more freedom than you actually do, right? So, right, when you're flying, you're under the reign or the supervision of the airline, and then when you get to that country, you're under the supervision of that country, you
Mhm.
know. So, but do we have control of our decisions? Because again, it goes back to consequences. You could have fought it, but there would have been some real hard consequences. right?
Right.
You
Thought
know,
about that too.
yeah, so I think when we think about decisions, right? Um, I think I think we have to we have to think of the consequences and do the best we can. Do the best we can.
Yeah. And I definitely feel that society plays a huge role in the choices that we make. You know, we think about what people might think, what people say. It's just a lot of different factors when it comes to decision making and the world that we live in. You can't
Yeah.
just get up. You might feel like you can, but if you just get up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna bash this person," you might be able to bash this person. Say somebody, an official person of the government. You might be able to do that in America, but if you go to another country, you can't.
Right. No, this is true. Right. There's different consequences. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. Well, hey, no. Listen. Matter of fact, I know Fashion Week. Did Fashion Week end or is still going on?
It ended.
It ended. Well, okay. All right. It ended. But what was also some conversation I just had a few days ago. Um, and maybe this is an agenda that they're trying to have people be free about their decisions. But did you see Russell Westbrook? Um, he chose to wear a dress.
Mm-hmm.
And again, everyone has their own decisions to make. Him as a man. But I don't. Yeah. I don't know. Why did I bring that up? Just to say that as far why no, here we go. Because you know what? Some people will say, no, I'm free to wear what I want to wear. And you know what? You are. Everyone's like, I think we do have control of our decisions. It's just the consequences that might make us feel
Mm-hmm.
that we don't. We have some control over our decisions. Um,
Depending on the decision, though.
Say it again.
As I said, depending on the decisions.
Right, exactly. Depending on what you decide, you have a choice, but for some it may not seem like a choice because the consequence is that harsh.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it's also just like a child who wants to go to school to study being a lawyer, but his parents want him to be a teacher. And he does what his parents want him to do because he feels that he owes it to his parents.
Right.
So he ends up being miserable with that profession because he's not doing what he really wants. So it
But
goes back to
mhm.
times with that's a situation where sometimes people make decisions for you and you don't even realize it because it's so unconscious.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. However, he or she would be in control of their decision. It's just the consequence of it where they're like, oh, I don't know. Now, again, what influences our decisions sometimes is children, because somebody might say, you know what, I've always wanted to travel the country. Matter of fact, I want to do it now before, winter comes in. Now, you can decide to do that, right? But there's going to be some consequences, especially if you have a child and, your son or your daughter is like, where's mommy? Where's daddy? Where'd you go? What do you mean you went cross country? Right. So, these are some of the things that affect our decision making. And even though I do believe that we are empowered where we get to, decide what we ultimately are going to do, we have to, I think wise people actually consider the consequences
Right.
because it matters. Consequences matter.
That's
Okay.
true. All
Yeah.
right. So now we'll we can go to the audience to see if anyone has an opinion about tonight's topic. So audience, do you think that we make our own decisions, or are we in control of our decisions? Are the decisions already made for us? What do you guys think? You can write in the chat.
Okay.
So
Oh, she.
Lenworth says overall, the system control our everyday life. You can't do the things you want to do if it is not within the system.
No.
He
Well, I
has a,
mean, yeah,
he has a good point. I totally agree with majority of that. I feel like the day we were born, we were already ordained to do certain things because the way the government is set up, they tell you how you can walk in the street. If you don't walk on this side, like you said, the consequences, you might get hit by a car or this might happen. You know, they tell you if you can go outside, whether or not there's a curfew or not.
right,
Just like even with the restaurant, I walked into a restaurant last week. The first thing the lady said to me was vaccine card. I mean, I watched the news and I know that this was going to happen, but it kind of caught me off guard. Like, whoa, you
right,
know, that's the world that we live in.
right. Are you familiar with Roots? And when Kunta Kinte, right? He had a decision to make also at that at a time when he was getting whipped. And then, what's your name, boy?
Yeah.
Right? And he was like Kunta, right? And he kept here, right? He kept hitting him, right? He kept saying Kunta until finally he said Toby, right? And again, to the comment that the brother mentioned, you're right. We're putting the system, like, yeah, we're in the system. You can make some decisions that where you're like, nah, I'm Kunta, but it's like it's a Toby plantation that we live on here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately. So yes, we do operate within. We definitely operating within the system.
Right. And it's a messed up system.
Oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, I've been watching. Have you seen? There's a mini series on HBO called "Eliminate All the Brutes."
No, I haven't been watching it.
Oh,
Not
I
yet.
mean, it's a fantastic 4-part series. Just very cold hard facts when we're talking about just the history of this nation and its rule,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and its rule. You know, it's a lot of evilness, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's a lot of evilness, but yeah, these are cold facts. It's nothing that can be disputed. Like slavery truly
Right.
happened. It's not an opinion.
Yeah. How much? What would you say, David? How much of decision making do you think, percentage wise, we make as people?
Um, I don't know. That's a good question. How much? Okay, here we go. Well, damn. Okay. I was just, I'm thinking like, okay, well, we decide what we eat, right? Um, but we only can eat what we have the ability to acquire,
Yeah.
right? Um, I could say I'm just trying to think of something that's very exotic. I don't even know because again, my decision making for food is pretty simple. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with some fish. There's a few places I know where I'll grab some fish from or whatever. Veggies, there's a few stores where I know I can go grab veggies from.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know a percentage. You want to hear a percentage? Maybe 50-50, and it's probably less than that.
Yeah, that would be like a situational decision because the TED talk that I listened to, the gentleman was saying that majority of our decisions are based on the environment and you know the situation that we're put in. But
Oh,
we don't
absolutely.
think that. We think that we're making rational decisions when our brains are really irrational. And
Well,
he gave a lot of descriptions by using like pictures. He showed different pictures and different angles, and it was the same For example, he showed two different tables. One table was sitting vertical and another table was sitting horizontal. And he
Right.
said, which one is bigger? So some people were saying the one on the vertical one or the horizontal one. So then he used a marker and
Right.
measured both tables. And then when he put it together, they were the same size. But
Okay.
because of the angles of the tables, when we look at it, it looks different. So basically,
Right.
he's just saying everything is just all in our head based on how we perceive the world. You know, it's a very interesting TED Talk. I recommend that you listen to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
On YouTube. His name is Dan Ariely.
Okay. I'll look it up. Absolutely. Yeah, our perception is a big influence on our decisions for sure. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Lenworth also said
Absolutely.
we make 30%, and that is in our home, not in the public. That's true. I totally agree that when we step foot outside, a lot of decisions are made, even at work. You know, who came up with this idea that lunch is 50 minutes or this amount of minutes? And then if you take some extra time, you getting written up or you getting in trouble.
Oh, the slave master. The slave master said, "Wait a minute, that's a little too much time. You should be thankful that you have that time." Yeah, it's sickening. You know what I mean? It really is.
And you know what? Even in our home, we don't even really make that much decisions if you really think about it, because certain circumstances with children and adults, if you step out of line, you know, your child, as a parent, your child can be taken away from you.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
just 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely. So we have laws that are that we have those guidelines that we have to operate within. Yep, for sure. For sure. So are we, it's almost the question of like, are we free, right? Or are we more slaves / robots?
We're slaves / robot. We're not completely free. And I think a lot of the prison is mental. It's a manipulation game that society plays on us as people. You know, if you watch like an infomercial on TV, oh, if you buy this, whatever, you're gonna lose 10 pounds. And people call up the number, they buy it, they take it, it doesn't work, they get upset, they want their money back. But it was just a mind game showing you a picture of someone fat and then using some digital program to show you the picture of somebody skinny. I'm not knocking what people do, but I'm just saying that a lot of the stuff in the world is just mind games.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we fall into that trap.
Mm-hmm. I'm one who usually asks like a lot of questions, right? So as we're talking, I'm thinking of more questions, right? Where I'm thinking like, matter of fact, does money, how 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 much of an influence does money have on our decisions? Okay. Let's just say, you have a lot of people who, because of income or, funds or whatever, their dinner might be something from the local Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. And then, someone with, more money may say, okay, you know what? Actually, I want my lobster flown in from, Maine or wherever. So, I think money, money has a large influence on decisions as well.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Money has a big decision on how we live our lives. Just like going into a dealership, you want a brand new car, but your financial situation tells you that you can only afford a secondhand car. Right. So that decision was already made.
Right.
from your bank.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 But let's just say you said, you know what? I don't even want to contribute to pollution. I want a horse. You can't commute with a horse. They look at you like you crazy. Like what? Like no, I want a horse.
They'll take the horse away from you in New York City.
Oh yes, yes they will. Well, you can't commute. You might be able to have one. You might be able to have one because they used to have the horse stable over there off the Conduit. I don't know if it's still there. I know they were raising money a few years back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah. It's tough. It's
So,
tough
and
out
you
there.
said Uncle Sam is always watching.
Oh yes. Oh yes, he is. He is. Oh, that's why you think I'm wearing shades right now. He is always watching. Oh yeah. It's all right. You know I'm not upset with you. Yes, I know you heard. You said the name David. You know that name sounds familiar now. Yeah. Anyway, it's all good.
I totally forgot. Oh my gosh, ABG.
It's all good. It's all good. Because no matter what, even if I didn't want let's just say I didn't want Uncle Sam to watch. Uncle Sam, I don't want you to watch. Guess what? He's still watching. I don't have control of that.
Totally forgot. I didn't even realize that's why you had the shades on.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. It's different. You know what? When I see now, when being raised as a young child, growing up between Long Island and Staten Island, right? And I've been commuting on the New York City Transit for a very long time. So my mother, she kind of trained me with these shades or whatever, right? Because it's just a little bit of it's just a little barrier. You know what I mean? Where you have to go a little bit deeper. I'll give you. All right, there we go. Yeah. So, yeah. That's why I have the shades on.
Yeah, but this topic is a very interesting topic. I try to think of topics that are not just yes or no, but require like a little bit more thinking and research.
Yep. Okay, so here we go. Matter of fact, let's talk about our jobs. That not our jobs, but just people in general. People get to decide what career path they're going to go into. What would you say?
You know what? I was talking about that earlier with my nephew. I even with that,
Right.
it's kind of fixed for you because, for example, if you want to be let's just say you want to be a writer, but there's no writing jobs where you do your research or it doesn't pay much. So you settle for being a lawyer because it pays more.
Right.
So it's like that decision was already made for you also because you're going in the direction of the one that pays more instead of going in the direction of where your passion is.
Right. But you could choose to do that, but you might just be writing little notes on the subway and passing them out,
writing, but you can't eat.
Right. But yeah, it's just like I said, it's the influence on these decisions and the consequences. Some of them are just very, very harsh,
Right.
where, where it almost doesn't feel like it almost doesn't feel like a choice. You're like,
Right.
damn, I got to do this. You know what I mean? So I can get this money or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah. My sister is saying, wrap it up. It's 6:33.
Oh, was it a half an hour? It's funny because I was looking. I was like, damn. I said we're going on an hour about this. I was like, I'm gonna try to stretch it out. You know what I mean?
Roughly like 45 minutes.
Okay. Oh no, it's
45 minutes. But we can. Do you have any last words, David?
Hey, listen.
Oops.
Oh no, see, but you know what? It's all good because and part of my reason for calling myself Average Flow because there are different people who know me in different capacities. You know me by my government name, David, right? But I have a few aliases because you know there's different decisions I try to make. You know what I mean? Without
Right.
Uncle Sam hitting me talking about Toby. I'm like, I'm Kunta. Kunta. Nah, but this was fun. This was absolutely fun. We got to keep it going.
This is it's bi-weekly. For me to do every week is gonna no, I can't do every week right now.
Okay.
So these talks are gonna be bi-weekly.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you for coming out tonight. Do we make our own decisions? I don't think we make our own decisions. Maybe 30% we make. I think our decisions are already made for us. You could look at the way the world is right now, you know. If we don't do this, you can't do that, you can't go here, your choices are limited. But yeah, thank you, David, for coming out on Viva Talks.
I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me. I love it.
Yeah, your presence was greatly appreciated.
All right, Viva Talks. Viva Talks. I can't wait. I can't wait to tune in for the next show. Woo!
That'll be September 30th. The next show in 2 weeks.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Hey, listen, and I guess there'll be a download version of this, right? Like people, if they didn't catch the live, they'll be able to still catch it, right?
Yeah. They can still view it on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Definitely, please share the link. You know what I mean? I'm going to share the link and put it in, put it in my groups and stuff.
Yeah. So thank you, David, and thank you, Lenworth and Andreen, for coming out.
Yep. I'm about to go tear this food up. All right, my dear. I'm out.
All right. Bye.
Later.